Just
Yeah, I got a question though for serendipity first.
sure.
What does serendipitous mean, and what does serenity mean?
You want the definition of serendipitous and the definition of serenity. Serendipitous would be happenstance, chance, happy coincidence. Serenity, I'm going to say, would be peace and calming. Serene, even. How's that?
Yeah, I was thinking that they probably have like the same base root, in the front of the word surrounding serendipitous, so they must have similar meanings or similar, background.
What poem are you going to read to us today?
Okay, I'll give you a couple options. You can listen to Bible flashcards. You can listen to the Jewish Tanya. You can listen to the Sufi Rumi, or you can listen to Letters and Sentences and Maxims of Lord Chesterfield.
How about the Jewish one?
I want Lord Chesterfield. Okay.
Okay, Lord Chesterfield's fine. Monica,
Oh no, we're gonna do the Jewish one, and then we'll do Lord Chesterfield for Monica if she wants it. Okay, pick a number 1 through 50.
50.
Okay, this is number 50. It's called Run and Return. So this is a meditation. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. This is called Run and Return. All the levels of love spoken of so far are called holy silver, as in the words, you greatly yearned for your father's house. But there is another level of love that exceeds these as gold exceeds silver. This love is like glowing coals of fire and is kindled through meditation on the infinite spaciousness of God and the complete emptying of all things into absolute nothing that such meditation generates. In this emptying, the flame desires to separate from the coals. Its yearning is so great that it is lovesick. And this great yearning brings about its own demise. This level of love generates hastening and returning. As it is written, if your heart hastens, return to one. If your heart hastens, is the moment of self-emptying from which you must return to the world, for despite yourself, you must live. Your task is not to escape this world, but to reveal it as a manifestation of God, as it is written, that there be one in one. Capital One with a big O and then a little O. Okay, do you want to hear the subnotes on what this means?
Yes.
Kesef Hakodashim from 2 Kings, all silver kesef donated for holy purposes. Kadashim is to be brought to the clubhouse of Yahweh. Genesis 31:3. The altar Rebbe is playing with the words kesef, silver, and kasaf, yearning. This holy silver is your innate yearning to melt into the infinite spaciousness of God as a lover yearns to melt into the arms of the beloved. Klat Hanefesh from Psalms 84:3, the annihilation of the separate self in the infinite spaciousness of God. Ratzo is hastening and Shov is returning. Tikkune Zohar, when you feel the pull of infinity, surrender to it and do not fear it. Perke Avot, just as the tide ebbs and flows, so you will be emptied into God and then returned to the world transformed. You are made to love God, and through that love, to be emptied of self and selfishness and then return to the world transformed. The Alter Rebbe is playing with the text, "Come, my beloved, to meet the bride." L'chadodi Shabbat liturgy. The Hebrew word for brides is kalot, which Rabbi Schneur Zalman links with klat, annihilation. When the bride is embraced in the beloved, she loses herself in his embrace. The bride is you. The beloved is the infinite Godhead, Ein Sof. Once lost in the arms of the beloved, you discover that infinity includes finity, that the Sitra Achra is the other side of God, the side of the many who are all manifestations of the one. At that moment, you return to the other side with a love so great as to burn away the illusion of separateness and help you discover your true essence as a manifestation of God. It's called Run and Return. That's number 50 in the Tanya. It's pretty smart. Yeah, I'm glad you asked.
Thank you, thank you. Edie. Hello. Let me just looking at that picture. Aww. What up, Buttercup? Nothing. Y'all done working, right? Yeah. You here, buddy? I fell asleep. You did? Aw. You did. You said Luciferianism and Satanism. And for those who do not realize, they're
Muslims.
Oh, really?
Really? Yeah,
I wanna look for it.
Jerusalem. Which church of
The temple.
Sepulchre. It's held by Muslims.
Dying.
Syrians hold the keys because they open the doors.
Oh yeah, the ones that they won't let anybody in.
Yeah, that's the church. Jesus Christos. So it's held by
Benjamin simply
years later.
motion or brief or some bullshit. He's gonna evacuate.
To the churches? No, they are. They're the protectors.
No, this is to the church, the temple.
Has it really come out around our circles? Has it really come out? Property.
Yeah, it has. Why are you trying? Why are you such a chicken shit? Like it's so.
Like managing.
They hold the keys to open and close the church. It's done on purpose. I guess for
What is the
many
purpose?
years. So they don't fight and stuff, I guess. They
Oh,
protect.
so I see. So they made some deals where you hold this, I hold that, and we kind of live in a
Yes.
ceasefire.
Yes, if you see the processions like during Christmas or Easter, they always have like those guys with this Turkish headwear they wear, and they have like a stick. They hit the rocks, right? Haven't you seen that? Those are Muslims. They like protect the processional, the priests and all that stuff, congregation.
Has a truth really come out around our circles? Has it really come out?
Or what is Jerusalem?
Yeah,
it has.
Islam.
Why are you trying? Why are you such a chicken shit? Like it's so weird.
Who's the chicken shit?
You're like trying.
Who's that?
still they have the
A
temple.
star in the west.
Yeah, they
A
called
JFC full.
that part back in the day.
Its racial faculty remains behind, either on account of original structure or from
One is the
disuse.
Temple Mount,
It is constituted class of men.
and then you have the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is where the
Thanks for coming. My name's Adam. Border is a disaster. Your border is a disaster.
Don't
take your This is my kingdom
For
come.
example, these are holy sites for both Judaism and Christians, and they allow visitation, but they don't allow pray here. So they have
We have breaking news. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Every crime they commit.
and they hold custodianship and keys to the Temple Mount.
March the 6th change your
Do
folks.
they
And
does Muhammad have anything to do with like things like that of that nature, or is it just those two temples?
Muhammad came 600 years after
Life is
Jesus.
good. You need blame no man. He whatever is.
But like, does
Oh.
Muhammad have anything to do with
Christ, this book ought to be shut.
They developed the game play.
You would come to me and say,
GPT said
Judge, when reasons if you not to do it, I am shall be somebody to use them.
Oh, okay.
That from God have descended the Joseph up to my father only and father's father.
It's just basically the
That
same
thou
thing
shalt know it.
with Jesus. They have that
Teacher,
temple
an ingenious youth.
And he has
where his
electrical.
body was, after the crucifixion. It's the same thing for Islam.
Be of thine and thy possessions free, owning
That's where he got the commandment for the 5 prayers a day.
from God and Israel.
So it's called Qibla or something.
Shall she see and I let my beings think yourself with one among them.
It says that Muhammad never went to He lived entirely in Arabia, Mecca, and Medina, and the surroundings.
Yeah, see that's what I thought, but
Yeah, no, this is like it's a mystical thing. He overnight went from where he was to Jerusalem and then up to the mountains.
Yeah, exactly, but it was after, it was not in his life.
The world.
no, it's like a metaphysical thing. You're saying.
Yeah. And so it says that the Quran describes Muhammad being taken by night from the sacred mosque in Mecca to the farthest mosque, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. And that's when he went from Jerusalem. At the time of Revelation, in the 7th century, there was no mosque in Jerusalem. The Al-Aqsa was later interpreted by the Muslims.
Yeah, it all happened like several hundred years after.
Yeah.
Because in Jerusalem, there's actually the city of Jerusalem, there's only 4 quarters. There's Jewish quarter, Armenian quarter, there's
And the Muslim.
Muslim quarter, and I don't remember what else.
Christian.
Is it
Christian
Christian
quarter.
quarter? Yeah.
But there's Armenian one that's separate from, I don't know
There's
why.
Orthodox,
There.
I guess. There's a difference, maybe.
No, Armenians are Catholics, aren't they? Are
No, we're
they're
Orthodox.
Christians.
We're all Orthodox.
Yeah, but they're Christians.
I think they're Coptic. Coptic Oriental.
No, the Coptics are in Egypt.
They're also Orthodox. All of them Orthodox.
They're Coptic Orthodox. So I think they hold, what is it, monophysicism? I think is a distinction.
It's not. It has nothing to do with monotheism. Monotheism went away after the Chalcedon gathering. It's just some of them did not attend because they were conquered by.
Oh, so they're non-Chalcedonian? They don't recognize the Chalcedonian?
There's like 5 Chalcedons gatherings, and Armenians and Eastern Church, those people could not attend the 3rd one or 5th one, I don't remember. So they just did not, I don't know if they recognized it, they just did not follow it because they couldn't be there. Because of the Turks and Seljuks and all the other invaders. So the Copts, all the Syriacs, all of them are Orthodox. That's why there's Eastern and Western, right? Anything.
I always get confused between Oriental and Coptic Orthodox. I know that it has something to do with which ecumenical councils they recognize. Some don't recognize the fourth, some recognize the sixth, or some shit like that.
Exactly, that's what it is. But it has nothing to do with monotheism.
No. It's I could be mispronouncing it, but it's I think it's called monophysitism or like diophysitism. It's about like the nature of Christ's divinity. If he is in one nature, is he of one nature or is he of two natures? And I think that's the distinction between the non-Chalcedonian churches and the Chalcedonian Orthodox. It has to do with like this specific, like, it's almost like a semantic and theological issue about like Christ's like divine nature. It's a very like kind of almost like a relevant point.
Yeah, but it's all. That's why it's called Troika, the three: Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. So they're all. I think it's all about that.
Well, Cortic, you're very interesting. You know a lot. Why do you know all of this? Are you an Orthodox Christian?
Because I'm Armenian.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
That's my history.
Yeah, I know a couple of Armenians here, and they're actually very cool. But somewhat they're a little bit resentful against the Jews as well.
Well, because in Jerusalem, the Jews speak the church, and and they want to take the land. That's why. In Jerusalem, there's a border date. There's like 100-year lease. It's gonna be over. And they want to take it. Of course, they're gonna be resentful towards that. But it's not like it hasn't happened before. It's 1,000-year history, so they have their own stuff like that over there.
I also, speaking to one of them, he was mentioning that during the war, that some of the ones that actually protected him and his family were the Hezbollah militants. And I was always very curious about that.
Hezbollah militants.
Yeah, something. Yeah, like he was like thankful to these people because they would protect them against like the Armenian genocide.
Yeah, probably because historically they're fighting for their land, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's the reason why he was like supportive of these regimes, you know, and let's say more against the Jews as well. I thought it was a very interesting position. I don't recall all the details. Might not have been Hezbollah, it was IRGC.
IRGC, that's Iran.
Yeah, I know. The regime, the Islamic regime.
So, yes, because Armenia is allied with Iran. Because of Turks. It's
Yeah, exactly. The Turks were in war with that. And the IRGC kind of like protected the Armenians, right?
Yes. But
Yeah,
at the same time,
was
there's
not.
Turks, Azeris, who Israel supports. So it's a clash of titans.
Yeah. It was
We're always
complicated.
in the middle. It's always been
Just like Syria, that was split in between all of these. And the Kurds also adding to the mix.
But it's always been like that. It's not just this century.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. Between
What the
big
fuck?
powers The smaller is half the wide.
Possible concrete, but they did this trick multiple times. So
Okay.
how fast was the effort to find the
Well, it says sure the rocks might not be from Earth, but that doesn't prove astronauts went there to get them either. There are other ways that non-Earth rocks could get there: meteors, robotic missions, and foreign sources. Saying a rock isn't from Earth doesn't tell us who bought it here, only what it is.
I just looked it up and it says meteorites of all size hit Earth daily. Though most are microscopic, burning up as shooting stars. Larger meteorites, like car-sized ones, strike once a year. There you go, man. We got it. We got it.
What kind of
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. No, you know what?
changes and fractures do they undergo? And are any of those kind of fractures present on the moon?
Can I ask you who controls the samples?
NASA. You can go.
So we only know what NASA allows us to test, right? So they control the rocks in the documentation and gets access. If no one outside NASA can access the original three samples, we can't independently verify this.
No,
Can we?
no, because there
And can we access it outside of NASA? Yes or no?
Grants to go work with the rock.
Yeah, there were international observers who were allowed to examine the moon rock specimens, right? That means that they were allowed to come in and get full access, right, to do the scientific studies. Right? It's not like the U.S. was fucking like, bullying other countries, saying, nah, you're not gonna be able to see it.
What about the idea of what Iowa said in the sense of other people that can that were in competitions, like, oh no, these the shit, right? When they allow other countries to examine it as well, right? Because here's what I'm thinking: at some point, we have to acknowledge that the moon was landed on, right? Because even to speculate that the rock was given by somebody else, somehow, some way, it's confirmed that it was a moon rock. The question is how it got here, right?
Right, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. It also says that, yes, some international scientists were allowed to analyze small portions of the moon rocks, but always under NASA's control. They never had independent access to collection and the retrieval process or the chain custody. NASA provided the rocks, NASA documented the samples, and NASA told them where they were from. Would you call it full access if someone gives you a sealed bag of evidence and says, trust me, it came from the moon? It says most of the world trusted the U.S.
Yeah, that's not
It's a clean room. And it's a clean room where you have gloves and there's multiple stages and multiple airlocks. And all the equipment is there. It's world-class equipment.
This is a rock appear lunar doesn't prove how it was collected though. But does a rock appear lunar?
They have the best one. So yeah,
No, it doesn't.
sure, they're using their equipment, their facilities and so on. But they fucking designed all of it. They built all of it. And you would be lucky as a scientist to go work there with those tools to examine those samples. And many have been. There is a process, even today, you can go apply. It's very fucking rigorous. Not
I thought NASA stood for not a space agency. A rock that appears lunar doesn't. A rock that appears lunar doesn't prove how it was collected. There's no test that says this rock was carried by a human from the moon. So analyzing a rock is not the same as watching it come back from a spaceship.
Tells you why.
No, there's only a couple ways of possible. There's only a couple possible ways, like scientifically, how the rocket ended up here, right, and not being contaminated, right. And it's the one, right? Somebody went there and got it, and they like Io said, they sealed it in one of those like airtight,
Hermetically sealed.
yeah, one of those chamber things, and they brought it back here, right? And that's why it's not contaminated. Or the rock defied the laws of physics, and it just teleported here, right? So I mean, you which one do you want to pick?
Could be both. Both things could be true at the same time.
Bro, are you using ChatGPT right now?
That's what I literally just said. I said that I looked it up, and I'm reading to you what it says.
I'm not accusing you of anything. I was in the office. Prompted ask it, do the lunar rocks that were brought back from the Apollo mission have helium-3.
Okay. Do the lunar rocks, go ahead, from the Apollo mission have helium-3,
They
right?
have helium-3, yeah.
Have helium-3.
How did you get here?
I got so much to cook. Just let it.
We're not here from the moon, that's what.
Yeah. We are trying to. That's why we want to go back to the moon.
It says yes, Apollo moon rocks do contain helium-3, but in very, very small amounts.
Now we got back to the next question.
Bro, I hope
Where is helium-3 readily available?
I hope you think it's arguing that the moon landing was fake.
Go. Did you hear his question? Go.
He said, where is helium-3 available?
Readily available.
Readily available.
Because as the fucking rock,
You know, I go so
rock landing on the moon, that's the proof shit.
The Earth is flat. The moon doesn't exist. It's a projection onto a big
The
screen.
Earth is flat is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what this kind of sounds like at this point. So look, I'll encourage you, Gold, to check out the NVIDIA link and go look at the optics.
Look,
Wait,
again,
what do you think?
you-
What are you asking me?
you're arguing against, you're punching the air right now, Io. I said from the beginning.
Don't get distracted.
You gave me
Answer God's question.
Helium-3 only exists in our core, and we have